Hey guys, just wanted to do a new video. This is technically my second video about narcissists and narcissistic abuse and what that means. Sorry, my camera is falling. A lot of you saw the video I posted, and I do not take anything back. I have no regrets about anything that I shared because it was my experience and it was 100% the truth, and it is what it is. It's out in the world, and I'm trying to move on and move forward with my life. If you missed it, I basically went in great detail about the last relationship that was in my life, which was very significant and really messed me up. And essentially, last week was a breakthrough moment for me, and I finally realized why I felt like I was missing a piece of the puzzle, why I was still harboring a lot of anger and resentment, and I came to realize through various situations and conversations that happened throughout the course of the week and really over the past 3 years, I realized that the relationship I was in was toxic and was emotionally and psychologically abusive. And the thing that resonates the most from what I have been researching is called narcissistic abuse. So today, I'm not going into my personal details because I already said that story. It's already out there. I have taken it down for various reasons. And again, I don't regret it, but at this point, it's unfortunate. But we live in a world still, unfortunately, where we are really advised to not speak up about things, which I don't agree with at all. It's against every fiber of my being. But people that were very concerned about myself and my career moving forward have spoken, and I have taken their advice to remove the video at this time. And I am a strong believer that the truth will always come out and that karma always has a way of coming around, so I'm going to leave it at that. But I do still want to share about narcissistic abuse and what that means because, first of all, I have to say that as an intelligent woman, as someone who has always been very intelligent and always very in tune with my intuition, I still was involved with a very toxic, abusive relationship. And I think it's really important to say that above anything else. If you take anything away from what I've said or from what I'm going to say, let it be this, that this can really happen to anybody, and people that don't think that are wrong, in my opinion. And the reason for that is when you're dealing with a narcissist or someone who's very toxic, they manipulate and they get to know you and they get comfortable with you. They want you to feel comfortable with them. And unfortunately, there are people that are out there in the world that take advantage. And not only narcissists, but there are many people out there in the world that build some sort of common ground or safety and will turn around and use that and abuse that and take advantage of people. And it's just so important for people to know that it could really happen to anybody, which is why I want to talk about this in a little bit greater detail today. And again, not really necessarily go into the depths that I did in my coming out video, but I want to talk about what narcissistic abuse is. And I'm looking up the actual definitions because it's not just about my opinion and what I have to say about it. I, of course, am someone who wants to share my opinion and share my personal experience, but I also just want to tell you some facts. So, narcissistic abuse is a hypernym for the psychological, financial, sexual, and physical abuse of others by someone with narcissistic personality disorder. That's the definition. So, what does that mean? If you're dealing with someone with, it's a personality disorder. It's narcissistic personality disorder. Now, what is a narcissist? That's the question. So a lot of people, when you think of the word narcissist, you just think of someone with a really inflated ego, or you think of somebody who just really is all about themselves and is selfish. And that may be the case. Narcissists really do have a grandiose sense of self-image and self-importance. It usually stems from a lack of actual confidence, and it can actually just be insecurity masked. And what I have found is that narcissists have a lot of masks. One day they have this mask, the next day they have another mask, but I do want to say that they're very good at having a mask on with different people at different times, and they can gaslight you, which I'll get to in a minute, because we've heard that word also tossed around a lot, and we may not understand the depth of what that is. And again, reading the descriptions of these things and the actual, not descriptions, but the definitions, that's one thing. But going through these experiences is a whole other ball game, and I really just want to stress that. So narcissists can have on one face and then another. But the thing is, it's not always something that's going to change overnight. And that's really what I've experienced as well, is that, again, just like I was starting to say at the top of this video, they can want to build some sort of foundation with you so you trust them. So that mask can be on for weeks, months, years. And then eventually that mask will change. And you'll just be thinking to yourself, like, what happened? And where did that person go? And wow, is this real? Like, who's the real you? And it's very confusing. So they play a lot of mind games. Narcissists also live in a bit of a fantasy world. I definitely experienced that. And I know many people who have dealt with narcissists have as well. They really want a lot of praise and attention. A lot of their mask has to do with them wanting the world to see them as something better than they are, bigger than they are. They could want to be seen as a perfect person or a strong person. And I know you may be thinking, yeah, well, Justine, we live in a time where everyone's on social media and we all portray a different version of ourselves. And there is some, absolutely some truth to that. However, narcissists really play up things, and they really take it to a whole other level. Like, I'm not just talking like they're pretending to be a nice person on occasion. Like, I'm talking they have a whole other persona going on. Behind closed doors, they're one person, and still with a mask on, by the way, because they really don't like to be vulnerable. But in public, they're different. On social media, they're different. They really just have this whole other version of them that is created, and it's not even real. It's just fake. They want people to really believe that they're associated with higher up people of some sort, and they want to be respected in that way. And it's not even respected. It's just they really want compliments and praise constantly, and the minute that you don't give that to them, they really can retaliate or become verbally abusive. They also can try to exploit you with some sort of guilt or shame, turn everything around on you no matter what. And they can't take responsibility or any accountability for anything that they've done. They can be really, really hurtful and feel zero compassion, zero sympathy. And that's a huge, huge indicator that you're dealing with a narcissist, because they literally don't have the capability. They're so numb and hurt inside that they can't empathize or sympathize with anybody. Even if they've treated them like complete shit, even if they've abused them, whether that's physically, sexually, mentally, emotionally, they could abuse people in any way and really have no remorse. And that is how you know that they have a personality disorder, because that's not normal. Humans are supposed to be able to feel things, and they are just so emotionally shut down. It's actually kind of strange. And they also are really good at intimidating people. There's a power play often that happens. They're really good at belittling people, bullying people, and there's always a power dynamic there. Like they're always wanting to be right, and they will always make you feel like you're little and smaller than them. And so those are just some of the warning signs and some of the things that I've experienced personally. So I can attest to the fact that those are true and those exist in the world of narcissists or people with narcissistic personality disorder. I do want to talk about gaslighting, and again, I'll read the actual definition because we've heard that word tossed around so much. Sorry guys, my video cut out. We hear the word gaslighting a lot these days, or at least I do. I see it on social media. I see people talking about it. And I think everyone has an idea of what it is, and if you don't, that's okay, and that's why I'm here to say the definition. So the definition of gaslighting is to manipulate somebody by psychological means into questioning their own sanity. So basically, I mean, they can just make you feel like you're crazy, and you will experience something with them, and the next day, or again, could be months, years down the line, they will absolutely deny what happened and make you question your own sanity and what actually happened. So narcissists love to gaslight, and that I can also confirm. Again, I'm just going to read off some bullet points about narcissists. They're self-centered, very focused on themselves. They have a sense of entitlement or superiority or fake power. They lack empathy. They like to manipulate and control. They have a strong need for admiration. They have a really difficult time taking any kind of feedback, and the minute that you pull back, as I said, and don't give them any kind of flattery, they don't respond well to that. And I think a lot of them also have a lot of anger issues, and that was majorly in my experience as well. Lots of anger, and that could be shown in various different ways. That could be, again, physical, emotional, mental abuse. I don't know, it could come out in multiple ways. The last thing I want to talk about today is the kind of people that end up in relationships with narcissists. And I obviously have to admit to being one of those people, unfortunately, who has been in a relationship with a narcissist. And I think as important as it is to call out narcissists and not necessarily call them out, but what I mean by that is be aware of who they are and speak out about abuse. It's really important to also look at yourself and say, why was I in a relationship with this type of person? So from what I have researched and what I can relate to and feel myself, the kind of people who typically end up with narcissists are codependents. And I should probably look up the definition for codependence as well. But essentially, codependents usually come from a background of trauma, and they have a lack of trust. They sometimes are caretakers. They repress emotions. They are very disconnected from themselves and are really just about putting other people first above themselves. So when they end up in a relationship with a narcissist, they end up trying to caretake for them, and that was my experience. So it's very overwhelming and it's very traumatic. Codependents also have very weak boundaries, so that works really well for a narcissist because they can take advantage really easily, and narcissists love that. Because the minute you try to put a boundary down with narcissists, they will try to cross it. And in my experience, my boundaries were crossed multiple times, and I allowed that to happen. So that's all I really have to say for today. Just some little key points about narcissists and codependents. If you hear my laundry, that's what's happening, by the way. Essentially, narcissists, people with narcissistic personality disorder, say it 5 times fast. That's difficult. They're basically, I can't speak. They're basically just emotionally manipulative people, and they're dangerous. And as I said at the top of this video, I cannot stress this enough, it could happen to anybody. You can think that this person is great, and you never know until, could be weeks, months, years down the line, until you really see their true colors. And that's 100% what happened to me. I wanted to believe that the person I was in a relationship was a good person, and I was shown by their behavior many times that they weren't and that they were abusive. And I tried to convince myself so many times and tried to listen to their words more than anything and tried to just believe that they were a good person when clearly that's not true. And so that's all I have to say for now, and I may do another video soon. I just wanted to do another follow-up video from my first, and I hope this has helped somebody.